don't want to stay here. I built here. I am part of this neighborhood, and I don't want to be moved out to another borough. Just because the rich people want to build here, just because the rich people want to take us out of here for their own profit, no podemos permitirlo. Nosotros los hispanos hicimos este barrio, hicimos East Harlem.
Well, the city's position is usually that gentrification happens and it's a natural event. It's almost magical, you know, the gentrification can't be stopped. So what they try to do is sell people on the idea that rezoning and affordable and a little bit of affordable housing is the best alternative. It's the best you can get. And it goes back to this notion that gentrification is a natural process, that it occurs magically and automatically, and there's nothing that city officials can do about it. So that's absolutely wrong.
Racist rezoning is just allowing developers come into the East Harlem area and basically build these high-rise condominiums with no exception to the people who live in the community. The rents are being driven up, people can no longer afford rents, it's an increasing police presence and forcing people out of communities that they've been living in. I mean, Harlem is a great example for over 100 years.
In West Harlem, residents put together a plan for the kind of development they were comfortable seeing, and instead they got the expansion of Columbia. At the same time though, Riverdale, one of the wealthiest parts of the city, they put together a plan that said, we want to protect exactly what we've got right now. If there's going to be development, it should happen somewhere else. And their plan was accepted by the city and is now more or less the legal zoning in that area. So yes, you can use rezoning to get what you want as a community, but unless you have the political power to get it, it's often ignored, and that political power has a lot to do with race and class privilege.
The rezoning is going to affect everyone in East Harlem, everyone. Even if you think you're okay, you're not going to be okay. If you live in public housing, you're still going to be at risk. The city wants to sell off your playgrounds, your parking lots, your front lawns to private developers to build market rate housing. You're not going to be safe. So the guarantees that they're making to public housing tenants is bullshit. If you live in an affordable building, your landlord is going to be tempted to sell that building to build market rate housing. If you live in an affordable building next door to where they're going to do construction of a market rate building, you are at risk for your building falling down because of the faulty construction. Nobody here in East Harlem is going to be safe. We have to do something. Everyone has to speak out.
They want to flip the whole neighborhood. They want to kick us out. They want to make us into these idols of the past. They want to take our culture and make fun of it and sell it. We know what it is to struggle. We live these lives every day. So why are they doing this for? Why is de Blasio doing this for? Has he ever lived in the projects? Has he ever lived paycheck to paycheck? No, so he does not know what it is to live paycheck to paycheck. To be worried if you're going to be able to feed your family, clothe your family, let alone pay rent.
And this is why our neighborhoods are under attack. It's capitalism and its drive for profits. It's racism and the displacement of Black, Latino, and Asian communities. It's not the yuppie moving next door. So while more and more housing is being built, there are more people being displaced from their homes and having to move out of where they live. So how is it that there are more homes but also more people living on the streets? This is capitalism at work. There's no solution to housing under capitalism. The only system that can offer a solution is socialism. Under socialism, the right to housing, healthcare, education, and a job are all guaranteed because they're the basic necessities of life. And we know we can win this new system because there are workers already in struggle and in motion, and people are ready to embrace socialism and live a life with dignity.
We want to preserve this ball field where kids have been playing for years. We want to preserve the community gardens, and so we're working with people from this area to fight the rezoning.
The reason why I'm against rezoning is because this baseball field, on Saturdays and Sundays and on days we don't have school, it keeps me occupied playing football. Instead of being in the streets doing nonsense, going to jail, have to fight cases, I could just come here and play football and not worry about anything.
Me personally, my mother, who still lives in the neighborhood, she's already been hit with the first few waves of gentrification to the point where, with the Social Security check that she receives each month, she doesn't have enough money to pay her bills and to feed herself. And I think that's the reality for a lot of folks in the community. And in addition, being a small business owner, when the property values of different spaces change in the community, it also threatens the business owners who you might pay a certain rent for your establishment, but then the property tax, if that increases, that really is what, at the end of the day, starts kicking out a lot of small businesses. So for the Justice Center and for Revolutionary Fitness, we're really at threat of losing our space that we've invested, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars into from our own pockets, from community efforts, and that could be lost within the next year or so because of the rezoning.
There's more profits to be made by luxury housing than there are to be made by trading stocks in New York City. And New York City is the home of Wall Street and the finance capital of the world. Luxury housing is a haven for accumulated wealth. Really, they are safe deposit boxes in the sky. There are regulations in this country that make it so that luxury real estate is tax-friendly for investors, both here and abroad. Profits increase when there is more luxury housing being built, but in New York City there's a finite amount of space where luxury housing can be built. So politicians up in Albany, they attack regulations that protect affordable housing, like rent control, to then open up the path for more luxury housing to be built. And then the local politicians here in New York are pressured to push forth these development plans which profit the rich and don't help at all poor and working people. And this is exactly why our neighborhoods are under attack. Poor and working class neighborhoods like here in East Harlem, like in the Bronx, like Brooklyn.
The city planning department, in order to push through their rezonings, does what they call planning. And what they call planning is having a few visioning sessions, inviting people to sit around the table and talk about what they would like to see, taking notes, writing it down, maybe writing up a report, maybe printing it up as a plan, and then publishing it. But then they throw it away.
I went to 2 of those meetings. They were really it just kind of reminded me when a kid says where they want to go, for the family vacation, you ask everybody where they want to go, and the kid's like, I want to go to Disneyland, and you're like, okay, but then you really don't pay attention to them. It was kind of that kind of vibe, where it was they had people in there feeling like they were doing work, but then the finishing product didn't represent what the people really wanted. That's the most important part of community organizers, coming together as a community and demanding certain things. Because when we give our vote away to someone, to a Democrat in our predicament, when we give our vote away, we're giving our speaking power to somebody else. And if they're not saying exactly what we want, we should be the ones saying it.
The city likes to pretend that there's no alternative, that they have to rezone, that they have to do something, that anyone who is against rezoning has no solutions, but we have offered the city solutions.
And so, what are we going to do? There are many ways that we stand up and continue to fight. We are coming together. We are standing with everybody across the city, all communities, as we fight back. And we have the following demands. We demand that all city-owned lands, we demand all city-owned lands, the empty public lots and buildings, to be used for us, for public use, and for housing that will be 100% affordable to people that make it. We demand that the rights of the homeless and displaced populations are respected. Quality social services, mental health services, and placement services should and must be prioritized as families and individuals lose their homes. The needs of the people should be met first and foremost.
Yes, right.
That's right. We demand that no building heights are above 12 stories. We demand that there is more funding to community land trust beyond the $500,000 that has already been promised.
Yes.
That's right. The immediate taxation of empty apartments that rich investors own all over New York City is another one of our demands.
Yeah.
Rich property owners buy valuable real estate and they don't even live it. The housing should be taxed and it must eventually be seized for public use. They've been hoarding empty and dilapidated buildings, and we demand that they are held accountable. We demand that they are held accountable also for the violation of tenants' rights when they turn off the heat in the winter, when they make it so unlivable we have to leave so they can make luxury apartments. We demand that they are held accountable. Their buildings should be seized by the city and appropriated to provide 100% affordable housing. Right. And finally, we demand that tenants' rights and services. We demand tenants' rights and we demand services that we can stop the landlord's abuse and their displacement strategies. We cannot continue to stand divided. We must stand together. My demands in East Harlem, the demands of our community in East Harlem, are the demands of the people of Crown Heights. The struggles are connected, we are intricately linked, and we are here in solidarity with you in your fights, with everybody who's fighting in Inwood and Queens, for everybody fighting on Jerome Avenue in the Bronx. Yes, everybody in East Harlem. Right.
Yes.
We are in solidarity with everybody in El Barrio, everybody across the city, and everybody across the country that says that is losing their home to millionaires and billionaires who think that our lives are dollar signs. And they're not. So we say the community is not for sale. El Barrio no se vende. And I want to chant with me. Our communities are not for sale.
El Barrio no se for sale.
Our communities are not for sale.
Puerto Rico, y en Nueva York me crié. Ay, pero nunca me olvidaré de mi tierra borinqueña. Nunca podré olvidar. Oye, tu hermosa Riviera, ni tampoco cómo se baila y tú ves su famosa bomba y su plena. Algún día volveré y ya tú verás a la tierra del gran Clemente. Oye, Puerto Rico del alma, ay, yo quiero volver a verte. Oye, Puerto Rico del alma, ay, yo nunca dejaré hay de amarte. Puerto Rico, yo nunca dejaré de amarte.